Prince William just shattered 70 years of royal protocol to defend his father in the most dramatic intervention modern Britain has ever witnessed. What he said about Keir Starmer left the Prime Minister frozen in absolute silence. And what happened next could trigger the biggest constitutional crisis since the abdication of Edward VII. Breaking. Less than 1 hour ago, Prince William walked into Westminster Abbey for what should have been a routine ceremonial appearance. But nothing about what happened was routine. Instead of the rehearsed smiles and polite handshakes everyone expected, William delivered 12 devastating words that changed everything. My father's wisdom and dedication to this nation require no defense from any politician. The silence that followed was deafening. Keir Starmer, standing just meters away, looked like he'd been struck. His face drained of color. Cabinet ministers beside him shifted uncomfortably, unsure where to look. If you want to see how this constitutional showdown ends, hit that subscribe button right now, because what's unfolding could reshape British politics forever. Here's what sparked this explosive confrontation. 3 days ago, leaked WhatsApp messages revealed Starmer's inner circle had been running a coordinated campaign to undermine King Charles. The messages obtained by senior Conservative sources showed Labour strategists planning to paint the king as politically biased, out of touch, and a threat to modern democracy. One message from a Downing Street aide was particularly damning. We need to make Charles the villain. Old, interfering, unelected. The public needs to see him as the problem, not us. The strategy was clear. Destroy the king's reputation to save Labour's collapsing polls. But there's more to this story that makes it even more sinister. According to documents leaked to The Telegraph, Labour's strategy unit had been wargaming this attack on the monarchy for months. They'd hired American political consultants, the same firms that worked on aggressive campaigns in the United States, to develop messaging that would erode public support for the crown. The budget for this operation: over £300 of taxpayer money. Think about that. While British families struggle with energy bills and food costs, Starmer's government was spending your money to attack the king. But Prince William wasn't having it. The Prince of Wales, normally disciplined about staying above political warfare, made a decision that palace insiders describe as unprecedented. He would break royal protocol. He would speak out, and he would do it in the most public way possible. Standing in Westminster Abbey with the entire political establishment watching, sources close to William reveal he spent 2 full days crafting his response with constitutional experts and senior advisors. Princess Catherine was reportedly his strongest supporter, telling him, "Your father needs you. Britain needs. If not now, then when?" That conversation, shared by a family friend who spoke on condition of anonymity, shows the depth of emotion behind William's decision. This wasn't a rash move. This was calculated, considered, and devastating. His exact words were chilling in their restraint, but devastating in their impact. For centuries, the crown has served this nation with dignity, wisdom, and unwavering dedication. My father has devoted his entire life to the people of Britain, to our environment, to our communities, to everything that makes this country great. His wisdom and dedication to this nation require no defense from any politician. The emphasis on that final word, politician, cut through the Abbey like a sword. Everyone understood the target. Everyone knew who William was talking about. The response was swift and devastating. Within minutes, social media exploded. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform erupted with the hashtag #DefendTheCrown, shooting to #1 globally in under 20 minutes. Video clips of William's statement racked up millions of views before Star's team could even draft a response. But here's where the optics became absolutely catastrophic for the Prime Minister. As William spoke, cameras caught Starmer's reaction. The man who just days ago had attacked the monarchy with such venom now stood completely silent. Not defiant, not angry, just shocked, frozen, looking like a schoolboy caught red-handed by the headmaster. Body language experts who analyzed the footage noted Starmer's hands trembling slightly, his repeated swallowing, and what one expert called classic signs of someone experiencing acute public humiliation. The contrast was so stark, so visually powerful, that even Labour supporters started questioning their leader. Margaret Davies, a 64-year-old retired nurse from Cardiff who voted Labour her entire life, posted a video that went viral within hours. "I've supported Labour through thick and thin. But watching Keir stand there speechless while a prince defends his father. That's not strength. That's weakness. That's shame." Her video has now been shared over 800,000 times and counting. Meanwhile, the very people Labour claims to champion are being systematically abandoned. British veterans, men and women who served this nation with honour and courage, are sleeping rough on the streets of London tonight. Michael Patterson, a 71-year-old Falklands veteran, was found last week sheltering under Waterloo Bridge in freezing temperatures. His pension after 40 years of service to the Crown barely covers his medication. "I fought for this country," he told reporters with tears streaming down his weathered face. "I watched my friends die for this country, and now I can't even afford a roof over my head." Michael's story is tragically common. Statistics released just yesterday by Veterans UK show that over 6,000 former servicemen and women are currently homeless across Britain. 6,000 heroes with nowhere to go. While Michael sleeps under bridges. Downing Street spent £1.2 million last month on diversity consultants and media strategists. We're talking executive salaries, luxury hotels for government advisors, champagne receptions for Labour donors. One particularly gling expense revealed in government accounts shows £38 spent on strategic communications training for junior ministers, essentially teaching them how to avoid answering questions honestly. The contrast is so obscene, so morally bankrupt that even traditional Labour newspapers are calling it out. The Daily Mirror, historically Labour's strongest ally, ran a front-page headline yesterday that said it all. "Veterans freezing while Starmer plots against the King." That's not Conservative spin. That's Labour's own supporters turning against them in disgust. Then something unprecedented happened that nobody saw coming. King Charles himself broke his silence. Not with anger, not with political theatre, with something far more powerful. Dignity and historical weight. At a private dinner at Buckingham Palace last night, sources confirmed the King addressed a gathering of Commonwealth leaders with words that will be studied for decades. "The Crown does not engage in political battles," His Majesty stated firmly but calmly. "We serve, we do not rule, but we also do not abandon the principles that have kept this nation stable through centuries of challenge." The full context of that dinner makes Charles's intervention even more significant. Present were the Governor-General of Canada, the Prime Ministers of Australia and New Zealand, and representatives from 15 other Commonwealth nations. By addressing them specifically, Charles was sending a message far beyond Britain's borders. He was reminding the world that the Crown represents something larger than any single politician or government. Palace insiders reveal those words were carefully chosen, reviewed by constitutional lawyers, and designed to send multiple messages simultaneously. To Starmer, "You've crossed a line." To William, "I support your intervention." To the British people, the monarchy remains steady while politicians panic. The optics are absolutely devastating for Labour. Here stands a king who could respond with fury, who has every right to use his considerable influence to strike back, instead choosing the high road. And over there stands a prime minister who attacked first, attacked hardest, and now looks petty, vindictive, and completely outmatched. But wait, because there's another layer to this that makes Labour's position even more precarious. Behind the scenes, senior members of the House of Lords are preparing what one peer described as a nuclear option. Lord Harrington, a crossbench peer with 40 years of constitutional law experience, has been quietly consulting with legal experts about whether the upper house can formally censure a sitting prime minister for attacking the monarchy. This hasn't been done since 1783. If the Lords proceed, it would be a constitutional earthquake that would make Starmer's position completely untenable. The mere fact that serious legal minds are even discussing this option shows how far Starmer has pushed Britain into uncharted waters. And here's what makes this even more explosive. 3 senior Labour peers have privately indicated they would support such a motion. That's members of Starr's own party in the Lords willing to publicly rebuke him. The fractures run deeper than anyone imagined. The domino effect has been staggering and relentless. The pound sterling dropped 1.4% in morning trading as international investors worried about British political stability. That's billions wiped from pension funds and savings accounts in hours. Currency traders in the City of London described the mood as panicked. With one senior trader telling Bloomberg, "Constitutional instability is the one thing markets absolutely cannot price. If Britain's foundational institutions are in question, everything becomes unpredictable." Labour's polling numbers already cratering hit a new historic low. The latest YouGov survey shows Conservative support surging to 38%. Reform UK climbing to 26% and Labour collapsing to just 23%. For the first time in modern British history, the governing party is in third place. Third, let that sink in. More detailed polling reveals even worse news for Starr. Among voters over 50, Labour's traditional base, support has collapsed to just 17%. In the Midlands and Northern England, regions that Labour must win to govern, they're now running 20 points behind Reform UK. Even more damaging internal Labour polling shows they're on track to lose over 150 seats in a general election held today. That would be the worst electoral performance since 1935. Protests erupted across London, Manchester, Birmingham, and Glasgow with crowds numbering in the tens of thousands. These aren't organized political rallies. These are spontaneous expressions of fury from ordinary Britons who feel their traditions and values are under attack. In Leeds yesterday, protesters carried a massive banner reading "Respect Our King Star" that stretched across an entire city block. #Starmer trended globally for 18 consecutive hours, accumulating over 4 million tweets. Senior Labour MPs are now openly questioning whether Starmer can survive until Christmas, and international reactions have been brutal. Canadian Prime Minister's office released a statement praising the British royal family's dignity and service. A clear rebuke to Starr without naming him directly. Australian opposition leaders called the situation disgraceful and warned that attacking constitutional monarchy threatens Commonwealth unity. Even American news networks, which typically ignore British politics, dedicated prime-time segments to what CNN called Labour's spectacular self-destruction. Inside number 10 Downing Street, the atmosphere has descended into complete chaos and paranoia. Ministers are shouting at each other in corridors. Emergency meetings are called and then cancelled. Advisors are leaking against each other to save their own careers. Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves was allegedly heard screaming at Starmer's chief strategist, "You've destroyed us. You've destroyed everything we built." Her frustration is understandable. Reeves had spent months carefully building Labour's economic credibility, courting business leaders, and promising stability. All of that work has evaporated in 72 hours because of Starr's miscalculation. Sources inside government describe WhatsApp groups that started as strategy discussions and have now become full-blown plotting sessions. One group darkly named after K has over 30 Labour MPs actively discussing leadership succession plans. Messages leaked from that group show MPs comparing potential candidates, discussing timing, and debating whether to force Starr out before or after the local elections in May. Another group called Damage Limitation is focused entirely on how to survive the next election with or without Starmer at the helm. One message in that group sent by a senior backbench MP reads simply, "We're facing extinction. Either we act now or we're finished for a generation." The question isn't if they'll move against him anymore. It's when. Cabinet Secretary Simon Casias, Britain's most senior civil servant, looked visibly shaken leaving Downing Street yesterday evening. Sources close to Case say he's never seen a government in such disarray, and he served through Brexit, through COVID, through Boris Johnson's scandals. This insiders say is worse than all of them combined. Case has reportedly prepared confidential briefings for the king on potential scenarios, including early elections, minority government, and even the possibility of a national unity government if Labour completely collapses. But here's the part that could end Starmer's career permanently. Leaked internal Labour polling obtained by senior Conservative sources and shared with multiple news outlets shows something absolutely catastrophic. When voters were asked if they trust Starr to respect British institutions and traditions, 79% said no. 79% Even among Labour voters, only 38% express confidence in his judgment. If these numbers are accurate and multiple independent polls are showing similar trends, then Starmer has lost the one thing no politician can survive without: legitimacy. Think about what that means. A prime minister cannot govern if the people fundamentally don't trust him to respect the very foundations of the nation. He can't negotiate treaties if foreign leaders see him as unstable. He can't maintain order if his own party is plotting his removal. He can't claim moral authority if veterans sleep rough while he attacks beloved institutions. The optics of that would be absolutely devastating. Actually, scratch that. The optics already are devastating because it's happening right now in real time. Meanwhile, Prince William isn't finished. Sources extremely close to Kensington Palace reveal that William has been conducting quiet meetings with Reform UK leader Nigel Farage, Conservative leadership, and even moderate Labour MPs who are horrified by Starr's tactics. The meetings aren't about politics. Palace insiders insist. They're about protecting constitutional stability. But the message is unmistakable. The heir to the throne is building alliances, preparing for whatever comes next, and sending a clear signal that the royal family will not be intimidated or pushed aside. One particularly fascinating detail emerged from sources present at these meetings. William reportedly opened each conversation the same way: "I'm not here as a political figure. I'm here as someone who loves this country and wants to ensure we don't tear ourselves apart." That framing, sources say, has been incredibly effective because it puts William on the side of national unity while subtly painting Starmer as the divider. Farage himself spoke publicly yesterday with the calm confidence of a man who knows history is moving in his direction. While others attack our traditions and our king, Reform UK will always defend them. While career politicians panic and plot, we stand for the values that made Britain great. No anger, no mockery, just steady patriotism, and it's working spectacularly. Reform UK's membership has surged another 250% in just 72 hours. Donations are pouring in faster than the party can process them. Party headquarters in Westminster had to hire 12 additional staff members just to handle the influx of new supporters and volunteers. For the first time in British political history, Reform isn't just a protest movement. They're a genuine alternative government in waiting. The next 72 hours are absolutely critical and potentially explosive. Parliament returns from recess tomorrow morning. Starmer must face Prime Minister's questions with his authority shattered and his party in open rebellion. Conservative leader Rishi Sunak is preparing what insiders describe as the most devastating parliamentary attack in modern history. Sources reveal Sunak's team has been working around the clock gathering every piece of evidence. Every contradictory statement, every leaked message that proves Labour's campaign against the monarchy was coordinated and deliberate. The plan is to present such overwhelming evidence that even sympathetic media outlets cannot defend Starmer. Meanwhile, Reform UK is calling for an emergency vote of no confidence that could trigger a general election months ahead of schedule. Constitutional experts are warning that Britain is entering uncharted territory. Professor David Langford of Cambridge University told the BBC yesterday, "We're witnessing a confrontation between elected power and constitutional tradition unlike anything since the English Civil War. If Starmer pushes forward, he risks fracturing the nation permanently. If he backs down, he's finished politically. There's no way out." Britain is watching this constitutional crisis unfold in real time across screens, newspapers, and dinner table conversations from Cornwall to Scotland. Families are divided. Friendships are tested. The nation isn't just politically divided anymore. It's questioning the very foundations of British identity. At its epicenter stands a prime minister who looks increasingly isolated, desperate, and out of his depth. So here's the question that matters and demands your answer. Did Karma just commit political suicide by attacking the monarchy? Or will he somehow survive this catastrophic miscalculation? Can Prince William's intervention actually force a change in government? And is Nigel Farage about to become the next Prime Minister of Britain? What do you think happens next? Does the king invoke ancient constitutional powers that haven't been used in centuries? Does Labour replace Starmer before Christmas? Or does this entire crisis explode into something far worse? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. And your perspective matters. And if this story shocked you as much as it shocked us, share it with everyone who needs to see what's really happening in Westminster right now. The mainstream media won't give you the full picture. But we will, because the British people deserve the truth. Subscribe and hit that notification bell, because tomorrow we're revealing the leaked documents that show exactly what Starmer's team was planning next. And it's even worse than you think. The next chapter of this constitutional crisis drops in 24 hours. And you won't want to miss.